Hey, excuse me. Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Uh, I've been packing orders all day today, and it's kind of time-consuming and tedious. Not that I'm complaining, but I needed to take a break, and I wanted to, after spending all day basically by myself, I wanted to talk to people, but it's kind of late, so I thought I'd stream. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't have enough comics to do a comics. So I've been wanting to do this. Issue 2 is out. I'd say about 65, maybe 70% of the backers got the comics. So I wanted to do maybe a live reading Q&A about the first issue. So if anybody has any questions, I gotta. There we go. The leg was like hitting my chair, so every time I moved, it was. There we go. That should be a little bit more steady. So I thought I would do like a live reading of Heroic Tales 1, talk about it, answer any questions that anybody may or may not have. Well, if I wouldn't answer any questions that you wouldn't have. And, fill in as much details as I possibly can without actually spoiling future storylines. And I know it's kind of I only gave people like a 5-minute notice, so I'll filibuster a bit before I start. But if anybody sees this later on, you could get Heroic Tales 2 here at Fund My Comic. I will always be at Fund My Comic, even though I'm probably going to start another campaign, a merchandise campaign, and when I do that, I'll close this. So if you go to Fund My Comic, look up Heroic Tales, you'll find my campaigns or whatever current one is available. So we got the Geeky Catholic. How you doing? I love that Daredevil. I love that Daredevil thing. So before we start, like I said, I'll filibuster for a bit. Don't have too many people watch. I don't expect too many viewers. Like I said, it was like only a 5-minute lead. So, all right. So, just got distracted because people message me as soon as I go live. All right. So let's check out. I think I gotta adjust the lights because we're not seeing this in its proper, beautiful colors. That's awful. That's a little better. That's a little better. I don't care if my head glows. We're not. It's not about me. It's about this comic. So here is Long Box Comics. My first comic, Heroic Tales. Had to do a corner box, like old Bronze Age Marvel comics. Okay, and what this is they come with a little cover that I have to pull off. There we go. So I took a brand new untouched comic out of the box, pulled. There's like a protective tissue that you have to pull off. So if you ever see that in the Staples, it's because I didn't do a good job. But look at this cover. So for this cover, this is Renzo Rodriguez, and he was about halfway done with the book, and I said, it's time to do the cover so we can start promoting it. And he goes, oh, who's doing the cover? And I said, you are. And he goes, oh, really? And at the time, Renzo said he never really got to do the covers of the comics that he was working on. They always had somebody, and I was like, no, we're going to have a variant cover, but you're doing the main cover. So he was all excited. So he said, what do you want me to do? I said, do whatever you want. You read the script, you already drawn it. I said, you're probably thinking about the art more than I am. So he had free latitude. I said, the only rules that I like, well, I have 2 rules for my covers. I want the artist who does the interiors to do the cover. So, oh God, now I got to sneeze. So it was always going to be Renzo doing the main cover. I kind of like the variant covers, and yeah, it's kind of scammy. It gets people to buy the same comic twice. You know what I mean? But quite frankly, us indie guys, we could use the revenue. So you pay for a cover artist, and you hope that it boosts sales, and it has for the most part. Issue 1, I went overboard. I did 5 covers. It was not economical for me, but issue 2, it worked out. Worked out very well because the cosplay cover was free. Crenshaw and Martina Marcota just was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And those are going to be the rarities because I only printed 50 of those. I kept one, sold a bunch, so those will never be reprinted. So if you want the cosplay cover, now is the time. And they're all the same price. I don't like gouging people. And of course, I'm just filibustering until we get people in here. I'm going to pull down my screen for a second and blow my. Okay, mischief managed. All right. I'm sorry about that, but I just sneezed. So, sorry about that. So there you go. I'm talking about Heroic Tales 1, the ins and outs. So that's the cover. So Renzo designed this. I said I have 2 rules for my covers. The interior artist does the cover. So going forward, I have 2 stories. And issue 4 of Heroic Tales, I think it's going to be the first time it's going to be a non-Renzo artist. So, but it's a flip book. So the guy, like Marcus Kelligrew will be drawing the public eye. So Marcus Kelligrew will be doing one of the covers. Whoever does, if Ron Mosicki, who's doing a Raven story, if that is in that particular issue, the flip book will be the A cover will be Marcus Kelligrew and Ron Mosicki. And then have, because I already got a White, I can't think of his name, did a variant cover for the public eye already. He just wanted to do it because he liked the character, so can't say no. Man, I'm dying live here. So so that was my 2. My first rule was the interior artist does the main cover. My second rule is it has to show something about the action, the story of the comic. I don't like these modern Marvels where they're just portrait pieces, you know what I mean, that have nothing to do with the inside. So the Patriarch did fight robotic insects. There you go. So these fit both my criteria. Those are my rules. So we got RRTNZ. How many hit points does the Patriarch have? I'm guessing 48. I'm guessing his V&V powers flight, telekinesis, force field, and a couple of heightened attributes. How close am I? Well, you would know exactly all the answers to those questions, but you didn't back a physical copy because the physical copies came with character sheets, and the character sheets are in the form of the trading cards. So what RRTNZ, I don't know if he knows this already or if he's just helping me out, but for the stretch goals, I made a pack of 7 cards. Well, I didn't make a pack, like there's no plastic cover or anything, but I made 7 cards for each comic. Issue 1 has 7 cards. Issue 2 has 7 cards. And for every 1,000, I think it was $3,000, you get the comic. And then if for every $1,000 after 3,000, you get a card for free as part of the campaign. Unfortunately, if you go to my first campaign, well, it's closed, but like the campaign is over. So if you back now, you don't get the cards. That's just to try to, but anyway, you could buy a pack of 7 cards for $10 that I'm going to be doing a merchandise campaign. But here is the Patriarch's card. Now, a couple of people gave me crap because maybe I didn't explain well enough, and that's on me. But this is a character sheet. This is what the character sheets for Villain Vigilantes look like. Now, of course, the character sheet is a sheet of loose leaf or the size of a comic book page, so there's more room for space. So I had to abbreviate it. But this, if you play Villain Vigilantes, if you ever buy the rule book for Villain Vigilantes, this makes perfect sense. If you don't, and a lot of people were confused, and they were busting chops to the guy who designed it for me. He did exactly what I wanted. So this is Villain Vigilantes. This is a character sheet. So I might as well go over this right now. So RRDT, thank you. So his real name is Jim Kelly, James Kelly. Identity, the Patriarch. I just realized that's wrong. His identity is Jim Kelly. His name is the Patriarch. So a typo that I never even noticed. His side is good. He's 46 years old. He's 20th level. His hit points are 41. How close? You said 48. Okay. James Kelly was an EMT who saved a man with a rare mineral. So you got a spoiler alert for his origin. That mineral turned him into the Patriarch. So his powers: flight, telekinesis, and I call it teleconsciousness. Those are his only powers. So you said flight, telekinesis, force field, and a couple of heightened attributes. Nope, he has no heightened attributes. His weight, he weighs 220 pounds. His strength is 17. His endurance is 21. Now, how does, if you play Villains Vigilantes, it's just like Dungeons and Dragons. Forgive me if you don't know these role-playing games, but in Dungeons and Dragons, when you make up your character, you roll 3 dice 6. So you have a range of 3 to 18 for your stats. In Villains Vigilantes, 9, 10, and 11 are statistically average. So 10 would be a normal person. So he's got high stats. But in Villains Vigilantes, every level that you go up, you could train, you could boost a stat, an attribute. So he, every character starts out at first level. So he has 19 plus 1s to all of his stats. So that's how his stats went above 18. So his endurance is 21. His intelligence is 18. His agility is 20. Strength is 17. His charisma is 19. He does have no, he doesn't have heightened charisma. It's just that he's been trading and things like that. So his accuracy is plus 7. What does that mean to you guys? Well, it means when you play Villains Vigilantes, you roll a die 20, and he has plus 7. So that shows you what a good at. His damage modifier is plus 5. So it doesn't matter what he does. And again, if you don't play role-playing games, I'm sorry, but it'll make sense. Whatever he does 5 extra damage. Why? Because in Villains Vigilantes, the damage modifier is based on your agility and your intelligence. So he's a smart fighter and he's a quick fighter. So that gives you a boost. And then it says carrying capacity. That's how much he could bench press. He could bench press 716 pounds. Now that's the extreme limit of his carrying. And his basic hand-to-hand is 1 die 8. So he rolls 1 die 8. So when he throws a punch, it does between 1 to 8 damage plus 5. So his minimal punch does 6 damage. Now the average human has 5 hit points. So his weakest punch could knock out a human. His movement he has 48 movement points. So in every round, every time you roll initiative, that's a round. He has 48 movement points. You spend 1 point to move 5 feet. That's on the ground. And his power is 78. That's how much energy he has. At his healing rate, every night of rest, he heals 1 hit point, and he has an 80% chance of healing a second hit. Now, of course, if I had the room, I would add more details to all of these numbers. But this is, if you buy the rule book, you could take this card and play this character in your game. So every one of my characters that had, every one of my cards that you have, you could play it in Villains Vigilantes. Matter of fact, there's 2 Facebook Villains Vigilante groups, and my comic is pretty popular. I don't even know if they like the comic. They just want more characters for their game, so they can insert my characters into their game. Wow, for 15 minutes, and I didn't open up the book yet. That's pretty cool. So Bat Sauce, how you doing, Bat Sauce? Just read issue number 2. Good work. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You can't help but get nervous, and you also want people to like your stuff, so thank you so much. I think it's so much better. And Patriarch number 1 is even better. And Heroic Tales 3 is so freaking good. Were you scheduled to go on? If so, I apologize. No, this was a spur of the moment thing. I've been packing orders all day, and I was just like, I'm grateful for it just roboted out, right? I'm grateful for all the orders, but it just, sitting by myself, packing orders, weighing things, wrapping. I just needed a break, and I was like, I just was by myself all day long. My wife was at church all morning, and then I was just packing the orders. She's upstairs decorating for Christmas, and I just wanted to be social. So I just literally, with a 4-minute window, I started up a stream. Gutted that I forgot to copy down the V&V stats for Darth Vader, the Emperor, the Outsiders, and Magneto when I posted them on the V&V forum before he had to retire. Well, it might make a comeback, but I can't guarantee that all the information will still be there. My friend Paul saved all the information, and if Patriarch number 1 does well, I want to restart a forum. The problem was the V&V forum, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, for 20 years, over 20 years, I ran a forum called the Villains Vigilantes Forum, and it was the site if you played that role-playing game, to the point the creators of the game and the creators of the company would all post, and then they started fighting that they own the site. And I was like, you guys don't own the site. I own the site. You know, I pay the maintenance fees. I've been doing it. One of them threatened to sue me because I was like, go ahead, sue me. You know, it's a fan site, you know, jerk. Jeff D is a jerk. And I had to take it down because it just got more and more and more expensive every year. And it was seeing less and less action. So we saved all the information, and maybe we could bring it back, but I'll probably call it like the Longbox Comics Forum or something like that. But thank you, RRTNZ. I love all the covers you did for number 1. I got them all for number 2. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You got the rare Gustovich cover, my Gustovich cover. I feel so bad because I botched that up. So what the Geeky Catholic is talking about is for Heroic Tales 1. This is the cover. I started on Fund My Comic, and you could get this cover and then the Pat Broderick cover. And then I went to Kickstarter, and you could get this cover and the Michael T. Gilbert cover. And then I went to Indiegogo, and you could get this cover and the Mike Gustovich cover. But the problem was, I naively thought that everybody was going to run to each forum and pick up the variant cover. No, they were like, I'm not going to buy that cover. I'm not going to pay $30 in shipping. You know what I mean? So what I should have done was had a bundle. So for Heroic Tales 2, I made a bundle that you could get all the different covers. You know, you could pick and choose whatever covers. But because I put the Gustovich cover last, it sold the last, so I obviously printed the lowest. So I feel bad because it's such a good cover. Oh, the cards are great too. I'm glad you got them. I'm talking with Luke. Luke Stone, owner of Fund My Comic. Maybe tomorrow, I'm gonna set up a skeleton of a merchandise campaign. So I'm gonna have like a merchandise store, so you can get all the covers, you can get all the comics, you could get packs of cards. So for the cards, I want to do like 4 packs, because issue 1 had 3 stretch goal cards. So everybody got the first 3 cards, but not a lot of people got the next 4 cards. You know, so you could get the four cards for $5 a pack. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the series 2 card, the issue 2 cards. Everybody's got the first 3 cards, but not a lot of people got the next. So I'll do a $5, and then I'm going to do a $10 all 7 cards bundle, T-shirts. I had to order more pint glass. I sold 72 pint glasses. Wow, I can't believe that. So I sold 72 pint glasses. I'll put the coins up, T-shirts, the King Fu hoodie, which I only sold 1, you know. And then this print that's behind me, this print, I'll put up that's expensive though. That's like $65, but I could order them per order, so I don't expect too many people to be buying that. But if you do, you have my eternal gratitude. Comes with my eternal gratitude. Agility 20 and Endurance 21. Who is he? Captain America? Man, are those heightened at you? Right. So you posted this. He trained. He had 19 points of training. You have 19 points of training. You know, the average human, in my house rules, the average human when they die of old age is probably about 4th or 5th level. He made it to 20. And 20th level in my game is legendary status. That's like equal. Captain America would be a 20th level superhero. So far, there's only 4 or 5 superheroes that made it to level 20. You know, that would be Patriarch, Marshall Strong, Magnum, Captain Atlas, and one more to be named later. I was actually talking with an artist today about him. Hey, Tony, how you doing? I'm going to put an invite in this for people to pop up in a minute. Okay, level 20 training bonuses I get, but damn, to get to level 20, that's a lot of adventuring. Yes, that's why Patriarch, Marshall Strong, Magnum, and Captain Atlas are the 4 longest still active superheroes in my world. There are a couple of villains that are higher level, but they're villains. Do I need a website for my comic? I can't answer that for you. That's up to you. That's up to you. Nobody needs anything like a lot of people. But the thing about a website is you got to pay maintenance. So do you want to pay a maintenance fee every month and sell 1 comic, 2 comics a month? You know what I mean? That's up to you. You know, like the bigwigs could afford their own website, you know, but you forget getting a website is a monthly fee. So I don't know if I'm going to do it, you know. That's why I say I'm waiting to see if the Patriarch does well enough to generate the interest. Based on S times level times 10 to take the telekinetic capacity he could lift is only 6,800 pounds. That's what. Okay. So RRTNZ has a copy of the Villains Vigilante rulebook. So he, like I said, I know exactly how much the Patriarch could lift. So he has. So the rules for telekinesis in Villains Vigilantes is strength times level times 10. So his strength is 17. So that's 170 times 20. And you figure that out as 680 pounds. And I think that's 2 die 8 damage. I've always thought the capacity calculation should only have been, well, in my game, see, this is base Villain Vigilantes. I have a bunch of house rules. I think it's a big misstep that Villains Vigilantes doesn't have a will stat. You know, superheroes need will. So, and I house rule that telekinesis is an extension of your will. So the Patriarch has a very high will, high level, and I also added a humanity stat. So I have extra stats that don't, but I didn't put them on the card because it's not right to put them on the card. Then you buy the rule book and you don't know what it's talking about. So I actually have, if you're interested, DM me or message me and I'll send you a word file of my house rules. John's not exaggerating about the farming. I was on the other side of the world. He hadn't played in like 20. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It really, really killed me when we had to put it down. Yeah, I'm so glad I went and copied and pasted. So I have a folder of just, you know, because I put a lot of ideas, story ideas, write-ups of adventures, and I really didn't want that stuff to disappear. It is just a wealth of memories and fun times and everything like that. And I do hope it comes back. Well, I'm all caught up on comments. So, without any more filibustering, I guess I'll begin reading. I will put this in here if anybody wants to pop in. I just wanted to catch up. So here you go. This is the link if anybody wants to pop in. As normal, my rules are have a camera on. You know, there's very few people that I want to see faces, and cameras keep you well behaved. And also, if you don't have my comic and you want to get it, you can still get it here. If you, for some strange reason, are lonely tonight, nobody else is streaming, and you wanted to, I piqued your interest. So here we go. So John Bua, that's me, the writer. First story is called Father's Day. Renzo Rodriguez, black and white art. Daniel De La Silva Rodriguez, color art. And Bill Williams does the letters. The second story is The Suit. Ron Mosicki, colors and white art. Black and white art, geez. Oscar Carreno, color art. Bill Williams, letters. Nick X did all my logos in this issue. Renowned Graphics did the cards. Brian Bow did the Madhouse ad. Fabrizio Aiello did the art Hoster's Fruit Pies. And Matt Bauer did the Sea Hippies. And this is special thanks to Paul Ferrantino, Michael Shaughness, and James Griffin. And extra thanks to my wife, Eleanor. Why did I thank these guys? Because these guys were all my players for 20 years. For 20 years, we were the players in Villains Vigilantes together. So And let me get down to here. Okay, just wanted to adjust. So it says Science City Savings, Science City, Arizona, June 15th, 2024. It's funny because when Bill Williams was lettering this, he goes, "What year is this set in?" He thought it was the past because of the outfit and everything, So I was like, no, it's 2025. He goes, well, maybe you should write the date. So this is all because, and then I realized that's a good idea. I'm going to put the date in every comic so that you'll see, because some stories I'm going to go back in time and you'll see that the children are younger, the patriarch will be less bulky, he won't have a beard. So you'll know a little bit more, and then you can figure out the continuity, whether I made a mistake or not. A will attribute makes sense. Why would physical strength determine the power of your mind? I'll DM you for those house rules sooner. You got it. He is in New Zealand, so he got digital files of my comic. I don't blame him. He doesn't want to pay shipping all the way to New Zealand. So I love this. If anybody has any questions as we're going along, please ask. So here we have Science City Savings. If you could see, I'll bring it here. There's a Statue of Liberty kind of thing. There's Zeppelins in the background. And then we had this guy in this pinstripe suit and everything. So Bill was justifiably confused. What year is this? It's now. Why are there Zeppelins? Why is there this? Maybe I'll answer it. Maybe I won't. Sometimes I'm a blabbermouth. So this is Mal. This is Gams, and that's Dame, and this is Boss Moxie. See, no funny business, and no one gets hurt. Play along, and you'll make it home in time to watch Blue's Clues. See, and that's funny because this is what threw off Bill Williams. He's like, why would he reference Blue's Clues in the 40s? I'm like, because it's set now. You rubes, keep your hands where I can see them. Girls, gather the money. Look, that's right. Put your gun in here, and don't be a hero, Tubby. That's Molly. She's the only girl that has any lines. And for some reason, she got a lot of questions. I guess guys like the redheads. I don't know if you can tell, but Molly, that's Molly Cusack. She has red hair. Svetlana has blonde hair. She's Russian. And Monique has black hair. She's African American, and she's got the booty, as you can see. Renzo has to draw a booty, and I'm not going to argue with him. Look. That's right. Put your gun in here. Don't be a hero, Tubby. Oh, Daddy's here. Molly says. Molly Cusack. Mal. Give it up, Boss Moxie. I don't allow unscheduled withdrawals at the expense. I can't even read my own comic. I don't allow unscheduled withdrawals at the expense of innocent people. And it's so funny because if you read the script, this is exactly what I pictured. You saw this from the Patriarch's Height. It's so much fun working with Renzo. The only discrepancy is that I had actual news stuff on these cameras. I guess he forgot to draw it, and then I just never noticed it. But I did have Regina Lopez. I was trying to introduce her. That's the reporter, on the news, on the camera. But look at this coloring. That's so good. I haven't seen this in so long. I haven't looked through this in so long. So good. And look at that page. The Patriarch. Nick Axe did a really good job on that logo. I love that. He's just floating there. I always picture John Hamm. Can people hear me? I think the comments kind of stopped. I'll do this too. I'll put a star here if anybody wants to pop in. Don't think I won't shoot. I'll do it. You better scram. And he's facing the Tommy gun at the innocent people. That arcade gun is too sloppy. I can't block every bullet. Someone is bound to get hurt or killed. You're welcome to try, Gerald, but I guarantee it won't work. My X-ray vision already focused on the rounds of the barrel. I can't guarantee if I could get you to the hospital in time to save what's left of your fingers. So it's your call. He drops the gun. And here we have the first. Well, there's the first appearance of Regina Lopez. You ain't seen the last of me, Mal, Dame Gams. I'll see you soon. Since when do you have X-ray heat vision? I don't, but Boss Moxie doesn't know that. And Regina Lopez, she's a little. He's kissing Molly's hand. He's a flirt. But he's not going to do anything. He's happily married, and he leaves. All the girls being arrested. And no, that is not the last you'll see of Boss Moxie. At first, if you asked me up to about 6 months ago, I was like, yeah, he's just a one-trick pony. He has a limited story appeal. And yes, he's in my game. All of these people, I have character sheets and everything. They've been in my game. But I just wanted to start off. It's kind of a joke. I just wanted to start off the comic with a bank robbery. It's just a classic superhero trope, and it's been a running joke in my Villains Vigilante game. Everybody would sit down. All right, you ready? All right, we begin. There's an explosion at the bank, and that's always been like a running joke. So I wanted to start the comic not with an explosion at the bank, but a bank robbery. Good old fashioned superhero stops a bank robbery. And when I said old fashioned, I was like Boss Moxie, and note that the Patriarch didn't use violence. He solved, because he's a father figure, he came in, de-escalated everything with his words. That's what a father does. Kids are acting up. What are you doing this for? I got to get up in the morning. You're up too late. You're making noise, blah, blah, blah. Second time, that's when the smack in the bottom comes out. You know what I mean? At least that's the way my dad was. So here he is flying through Science City. Now, it's hot out in Science City. It's near Arizona. Well, it is in Arizona. It's near Yuma, Arizona. And then here he is. He's thinking, yes, word balloons. I remember when I posted a couple of these pages, people like, thought balloons? You have thought balloons? Absolutely, I have thought balloons. So here he is. He's flying home, and he's thinking. And I love that Renzo puts these billboards with he puts in all this little detail. Like, I didn't tell him to put the train. Look at all these buildings. And then he puts that. I just love that. I love that stuff. I really shouldn't keep dodging Regina. She's just trying to do her job. But she's so persistent. I know she feels guilty. Still, we should talk. Just not now. I want to go home. It's been a long night. Okay, there's nothing around. So I want to post that. I don't think I was clear. But the Patriarch is coming home from a long night of adventures already. The Boss Moxie bank robbery was just the last event in a series of events. So I think it was failing of my writing right here. But I wanted to show that he's been running around ragged all night, and he wants to get home for Father's Day. I don't know if you missed that, you got that or whatever. So here he says, I can release my senses here. So he goes, see if I'm needed. So what is he doing? And I love this because when I described this, Renzo said, oh, like Peter Parker, Spider-Man. So I was like, absolutely. So he's using his super senses. Now, what did I call his senses in the card? Teleconsciousness. I was just thinking, like, it's not X-ray vision. It's not, telescopic vision. He literally, really, it's almost like an astral form. It's almost like Doctor Strange. Except he sends out his senses. All 5 of his senses leave his body. So has no ability to detect the world right now. So he's high up in the air. He's flying above the buildings, and he releases his senses, and his senses go at the speed of thought. And notice I didn't put the stats in the card. Maybe I should put the stats later on, but I just didn't have enough room on the card. And he could literally, so right here, he could hear the cat. He could smell the cat. If he wanted to, he could put his senses and feel the cat. And you could taste the cat. He doesn't have to put his tongue on it. He just has to put like his, this focus. That's, where he focuses is what he's touching, feeling, and everything. And then he could, and the range. So if he puts his focus on the cat, he could hear like as if his normal hearing. You know what I mean? But he's vulnerable, so he sees cat in the tree. He was going to save this cat in the tree, but at the same time, this car is going off. So he had to make a decision. So he's going off. Dear God, I hope that I make it in time. So whoosh, and then here's the car. Look out! Look out! You know, and look, I have you. It's the patriarch. So he can't really lift the car. He's using his telekinesis to lift the car. Is anyone hurt? Are you okay? Oh, wow. You're the patriarch. I am. I don't know how this happened. We've been on the road all day. And the little girl goes, Mommy, Daddy were fighting. All that matters is no one was hurt. Patriarch knows. You know, we weren't fighting. We just disagree. Here's some damage to your car. Yeah, but you saved us. I mean, if you weren't here, well, don't dwell on it. Since it's Father's Day, let me see if I can fix this. Notice little Batsy, little wolf figure, little, you know. So yeah, so far Wolf and Batsy been in all my comics. Yep, there you go, the geeky Catholic. I spy Wolf and Batsy. I asked Brian Bow and Fabrizio and RJ from the Fourth Age, could your characters be comic book characters in my world? Like you could read Wolf and Batsy and Thomas Valiant and Horace H. Hoover. And they're like, yeah, sure. So every once in a while, I'll put like a little reference to them. It's, you know, they were very helpful for me making my comic book. And it's just a little way to, to thank them. And I think it's fun. Keep your hands away. This is tricky. It's a lot harder than it looks. Focus. It's about focus and control, not raw power. Here you go. You just need some paint and a buff. So I put this scene in because I wanted to show how he's different than Superman. I really was like aware that at this point, people are going to accuse me of being a Superman ripoff and whatever. And that's fair enough. So I wanted to show that his powers were different than Superman's powers. That's the whole purpose of this scene. And I just love this art. And Daniel's coloring so good. All right. Hey, Patriarch. Ooh, that took a lot out of me. Using my power to do something so precise, it's intense. I have to catch my breath. Lifting is easy compared to that. Hey, big guy, smile. So now I'm thinking like he's been standing still for a long time. He's famous. You know, he has a charisma that's, you know, higher than a politician's. You know what I mean? So, of course, people start crowding him around. It's one of the reasons why he's always constantly moving. And if you notice, he doesn't wear a mask. Hey, Patty. When your name is the Patriarch, people are going to call you Patty. Even though everybody knows his name is James Kelly. They know it. But the average person probably calls him Patty, like they would call Spider-Man Spidey. Drive carefully. This should get you home. I'm not the world's best mechanic. I would get your car checked out if I were you. You free tonight? Over here. I can't leave the guardrails like this. We don't need any more incidents. This should be easy. No moving parts. So he telekinetically fixes that. Drive carefully. See ya. Bye, you know. Oh, back over the city. It's been a long night. Nice. A full moon really brings out the crazies. I hope that was it. I just want to get home. Shower, and then a nice plate of ham and eggs. Is that Regina? Oh, no. Regina, this is too far. Regina, of all the stupid stunts. So, the reporter from before, she literally jumps off the building. Then he catches her. I just thought that would be a funny homage to, hey, you're comparing him to Superman and how many, and like, what is it? Lois Lane's always falling off buildings. But to be honest, the inspiration for this was Megaton Man. Pamela Pureheart, I think her name was, the girlfriend that Megaton Man married. She, like every third page, would just slip and fall out the window. You know, it was just a joke. So I was kind of goofing on Megaton Man, but it also fits the story. I'm going to focus on her probably in Patriarch number 2. Not probably, definitely Patriarch number 2. So catches it. Jimmy. First thing she does is kiss him. What were you think? You saved me. You saved me, just like I knew you would. Once I saw you flying, I knew you would see me. If you would just stay, I wouldn't have to keep doing things like this. I love you. Don't you love me? I talk to you all the time, but you know that with your super hearing. Sometimes talking isn't enough, and I need to see you. I know you're busy, so don't get upset. Sometimes I think you're avoiding me. You of all people should know why I have to go. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You have to go back to therapy. I could carry you back home. No, go on. Don't leave. I don't need your pity. This is my building anyway. No, I'm not spoiling what happened. I'm not spoiling what happened. That will be the subject of patriarch number 2. Why does she of all people know? That'll be number 2. I don't know how to help her. I need to talk to someone, get some practical advice. Got to check on Marissa and the kids one more time. So now he's using his powers, checking on his family. All seems well. I guess it's okay to head. What? So here's his wife, his twin boys, his twin girls, his oldest 2, and the baby. I even forget, but I'll tell you their names since I don't tell you their names in the comic. But that's Regina. That's his wife. The oldest boy here is Paul. That's Courtney. It's Abigail and Althea. And that's Seamus and Ionis and Gertrude. Those are his kids. And now he sees this meteor. Shields up. So this is where RRTNZ got a little confused. When I say shields, he has telekinetic shields. So he puts up a telekinetic field of force, not a force field. It amounts to the same thing, but it's different. It's different powers in the rule book. So he's putting up a telekinetic force field. Time to hit maximum speed. So he could fly, and then he could also use his telekinesis to boost his flight. I don't need this. This is the 4th time this year. Plot point. Spoiler. What's going on? That meteors are hitting Science City. Take a deep breath, because I wanted you to know that he cannot breathe in space. Nobody can breathe in space, but he needs oxygen. He's not atmosphere independent. So now he's flying up, up, up. And technically, he's not fast enough to make escape velocity. I think you have to go 35,000 miles an hour before you can hit escape velocity. If you fly slower than 35,000 miles an hour, you get curved, and then you never actually leave Earth's atmosphere. But if you have the power of flight, you just defy gravity. You could fly at 1 mile an hour and eventually leave to space, because you're just bypassing the laws of physics by flying anyway. So this is the page that I keep talking about that didn't have any words. So in the file that I got from the printers before I said okay, this didn't have any words in it. I was like, whoa! So we had to redo the file to put these, and it would have worked without it. But you only get one chance to do your first comic. So focus. Channel the power into a wedge. Imagine a blade. This is a big one. I must break it, cause it to split. Focus. I hope I'm going fast enough. I hope my shields hold up. They had better. So I love this. Renzo added these little panels. I love it. I didn't ask him to draw these. He added them. Because I just said, show him getting colder with each of these 3 panels. And he added this. And then the last one, his eyes are glowing. If you read Heroic Tales 2, you know why his eyes are glowing. If you didn't read Heroic Tales 2, I don't want to spoil it. It's in Heroic Tales 2. All the meta-powered beings in my world have the capacity to have their eyes glow. It's not a good thing when they do it. It means they're drawing too much power. They can boost their power. All right? That hurt. Totally drained. I used way too much power. I have to land and rest. I have to talk with the Meta League. Who are the Meta League? That's the team he's on. You'll see more of them. The Meta League features in Heroic Tales in Patriarch number 3. It's a Meta League story. So think of this as his solo book, and Superman is in Superman comics, but he's also in the Justice League. So Patriarch 3 will double as a Meta League comic, and I might put like a Meta League cover on the back cover. I have to talk with the Meta League. This is too many times for coincidence. Something is causing this. We have to investigate. Now what? So, future story. I just want to get some sleep. Oh, no. Not so soon. This time I have to... Oh, why does he keep doing this? He never makes any demands. This time I have to catch him. Look at that page. Tell me that's not awesome. Oh, my God. Look at that. Look at that. I'm so proud of this. This is so cool. I mean, if you don't like my comic, I don't know what to tell you, man. This is what comics, giant robot spiders, this is what comic books is about. Blowing up meteors, fighting robot bugs. This is awesome. Look at all this. And then, big robotic scorpion. Dr. Robug. Stop this. Surrender now, and I promise I'll get you the help you surely need. We don't have to do this again. And I just remember Renzo, he was just like, I never want to draw another ant again. I never want to draw another ant again. Look at that. Look at that. All these ants. Really? Already? So he's surprised. He was prepared for the picture. Patriarch, my eternal nemesis, why do you plague me? This time you can't win this time. Behold. So he's fired rockets. Now, yes, he looks goofy. Renzo made him a little bit more goofy than I wanted. So kind of like, I don't know, I think it tricked a few people to thinking it's like an all-ages comic. I mean, it is an all-ages comic, but it tricked people into thinking it's a child's comic. But Dr. Robug is not a good person. More on that later. So poof, he fires a rocket. And look, you see Horace H. Hoover billboard. I barely caught it. Can't let it go. You can see his eyes are starting to change color, but they're not glowing. Remember, he's supposed to be exhausted. Roland, are you crazy? A missile. You could kill people. You're not a murderer. Robot ants. Sloppy. The rocket was a distraction. I'm too tired for this. I'm making mistakes. Patriarch makes a lot of mistakes. He makes a big mistake in issue 2. So many robots to keep track of. If only I knew what he wanted. Ma'am, you need to run. Somebody help him. You've got to get out of here. Run. Go. So, anybody catch what's going on? If only I knew what he wanted. Ma'am, you got to... That's what Dr. Robot wants. Oh, I got to turn off the camera and turn it on again. I messed with the focus. Sorry about that. Okay, that's a little bit better. Dr. Robug, he's abducting a chick. I said he's not a good guy. That's why he's a little bit silly looking for the seriousness of, between the lines. Go. The Patriarch is freaking out. He's like, you get out of here. Go. Redheads, they make you do the craziest things. He's talking to the ant. Sometimes you just have to make a grand gesture. And Patriarch's like, go, for the love of God, get out of here. Robog, if you harm this woman, so help me. Now his eyes are glowing. Again, if you read Patriarch number 2, you understand the importance of glowing eyes. Bug, he gets sliced in the face. No, please, huh? So, I've got this one, but there are thousands more. My shields can only hold them back for a few more seconds. So he's literally holding all of these insects back with telekinesis right now. He's drawing a little bit too much power right now. That is bad. Forgive me, but I don't have time to be polite. So he just grabs the woman and flies away. Renzo made it. I made it a little bit more like he just grabbed her. Like, I think I had it like he grabbed her by the tricep and the shoulder. Like he just and it was like a little bit too rough with her because he's supposed to be on the verge of exhaustion and maybe a little bit of panic. But maybe I didn't get that in the script too much. So she's a little bit more comfortable. But it was supposed to be a little bit more like, that's why I said, forgive me, I don't have time to be polite. But it still works. You should be safe up here for now. You have something on your mouth. What? On your mouth. Lipstick. So he still has Regina's lipstick on. Regina, you caused me more trouble than all my enemies. So the girl's up on the building. Now we can deal with Dr. Robug. Robug, this is getting so tiresome. You're not getting away this time. Ow! The machine is crushing. And look at the lettering. This is Bill Williams lettering. As far as I'm concerned, he's the best letterer. I'm not saying anything bad about any other letterer, but by the process of elimination, somebody is the best. And for those of you who are interested, Bill Williams is the honcho behind Punchline from Antarctic Press with Mel and Varsima. Great comic. Phil Wilden does most of the art, but he's been having guest artists for a couple of issues. It's so much fun, so good. And Punchline Annual #1, I will have a 12-page story in that. Me wrote the 12-page story. It features the Metal League. It's chronologically, I didn't put a date on it. I should have put a date on it, but I didn't. But chronologically, it's going to be around Patriarch 4 or 5, Heroic Tales 4 or 5, around there. So you're going to get a glimpse of the future a little bit. And then he says in like a couple of years, like maybe a year after, I'll be able to reprint it. So I was thinking of maybe making it like a 12-page mini book or something like that, like as an add-on for Heroic Tales in the future. Who knows? All right, so he's Robug. This is getting tiresome. You're not getting away this time. Blam, smash. I love putting sound effects. Your sanctimony is full. I need no help. I need no one. I have everything I need right here in my hand. So he's got a remote control. Roland, I can help. Let me help. I know a few doctors with the skills. No more doctors. No more cruel women with their scorn. No more laughter behind my back. This is my time. My time to make men like you feel small. It's your turn to be scared. Yes, tremble. I can feel you shiver in fear. You're scared of me. I can feel it in my feet. What is that? I know that sounds funny, but here is the Dr. Robug card. Dr. Robug's powers: physical handicap, dwarfism, heightened intelligence plus 27. So that makes his intelligence 46. So that means he has a 460 IQ. Heightened senses, vibrational awareness through his oversized feet. So he plants his feet on the ground and he can pick up vibrations. So like Daredevil, he could know where everything is. So that's why he doesn't wear shoes. He puts his feet on the ground and his creepy oversized feet could detect everything. What is that? Do I spy lipstick on your mouth? Of course it is. A big handsome like you must have all the women you want. Who is it this time? That pretty reporter that chases you around like a lovesick puppy? Lopez? So pretty. You make me sick. So he's just pure envy. He's literally, I didn't realize it when I wrote this, but it's literally the Chad versus the incel. That wasn't on purpose. But if anybody asks me from now on, I'm going to say, yeah, I was doing a commentary. So many ants, I can't deflect them all. They're getting through my shields. I'll be overwhelmed soon. Look at this panel. Look at this panel. So maybe when you are gone, I'll give Miss Lopez a call. Console her. Right there, my one chance. Come to Papa. So he uses telekinesis to pull the remote control out of his hand. Got it. And he crushes it. Come on, Roland. It's over. Let me take you back to your cell. His name is Roland Robards, Dr. Robug. And when he called people, Robug was what people called him to insult him because he was fascinated with robots and insects. What? How did you do that? So you tricked me. You aren't even strong. Your powers, you're telekinetic, yes? Your strength is a trick. I see now. You can't fool me anymore. I know how to beat you now. Next time I will win. I know exactly what to do. Yes, I'm setting up for the return of Dr. Robug. I was dumb and sloppy. He deduced how my powers work. He'll be prepared next time. This is not good. Almost forgot. We need more meat. Let's see if there's anything close. Relax, focus, send out my... There. And you know what's funny? This is the page that got me like the most like negative feedback. Did he have to kill that deer? And a couple of people like, why is the deer stiff? Because he's lifting it with telekinesis, you know, and it's an elk, and he cracks it, crack, and he carries it home. Yeah, he's a farmer. I love. He has got the barn, main house. You know, he's got like a workshop, guest houses, and things like that. You'll see more of his home life. That was somebody had a critique that we didn't see enough of. You know, he's supposed to be father. We didn't see enough of his life. Yeah, we'll see more of his family life and everything like that in future issues. In Patriarch 1, there's a lot of his family life. Not that much in Heroic Tales 2, but more than this. Everyone should be sleeping. I'll field dresser and get some rough night. We all stayed up as late as we could. Mom just went to bed an hour ago. Thank you. Oh, that's a mistake. JJ. Ooh. So now I have to change his name from Paul to JJ. Oh, man. His name was supposed to be Paul. In the early draft, it was JJ, and then I changed it to Paul, and I guess the early draft made it into the script. So who is that? Beachhead? Sergeant Doom? The Red Vespa? No, thank God. So these are all other foes. Who did I leave out? Dr. Robug. He escaped and whipped up some bug-shaped robots. Dr. Robug, the short-haired guy with the big feet, he's such a loser. I feel sorry for him. Such an intellect. Such a waste. Dad, I got this. You go clean up. You smell like crap. Was anybody hurt? No. Yes, but no deaths. I got there just in time. I was lucky tonight. Hey, Dad. Happy Father's Day. Thanks. I saw the light in the barn. Are you hungry? Ravenous. But I need to clean up a little first. Go shower. I could go. Ooh, let me go get my kit. Yes, that's Regina. She's a little thinner and younger looking. She's supposed to be 42, 43. So I kind of wanted her to be a little more, as the kids say, thick. But Renzo drew a young, skinny, hot woman. She's supposed to be like a more milfy woman. But that works. I'm so mad that I messed up on the kid's name. I updated it. I must have used the old script. What's this? Lipstick? It was Regina. That poor girl. She's going to hurt herself someday. Honey, I know. I love you. I love you too. This scene, I wanted it. I was hoping people will get like scared, like, oh my God, what is she going to do about the lipstick? But she knows. They trust each other. And she knows all about Regina, who I'm not going to spoil her story yet. And then they kiss. Happy Father's Day. And yes, she's burnt. She's covered with scars. And no, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. Oh, Zaktan's here. Hey, how you doing, Zaktan? It was funny because I know, I'm not even joking when I say I get nervous until I get my blessing from Zaktan. I'm not kidding. I do. But I didn't get it tonight because I didn't expect you to come in, you know, because I announced at an odd time, 5 minutes warning. So this is a nice bonus blessing. Thank you. Yes, that was a tense moment. Oh, good. I'm glad it worked. You know, I'm glad it worked. So there you go. That's Father's Day. And now we have an advertisement. And if you ever read these, they do say advertisement. Oh, you can't see it. If you ever read these Hostess Cupcake ads in the comics, they do say advertisement because I didn't want people to be confused. And I'll show you so there's a few mistakes now in this comic. Damn, I'm so mad. Somewhere in a castle, somewhere in Hungary. Please no. And Fabrizio Aiello wrote this and drew it. All I did was give him an idea, ask him if he was interested. He said, what do you want to do? I said, how about a Hostess Cupcake ad? And he's like, okay. I was like, yeah, have Horace H. Hoover in a Hostess Cupcake ad. And then we were going back and forth. And then I was like, hey, Brian, is it okay if like It's Wolf and Batsy. So yeah, yep. So I love that my friends let me do this. Meanwhile, in a castle somewhere in Hungary, please no, I won't tell anyone what you've done. Just let me live. The Baron stole lands from my family. I'm so glad he's dead. I swear I won't tell anyone. Why should we believe you? The mob will be at our door the moment we let you leave. He looks well fed and hydrated. Witnesses are just leftovers. Apologies, Baron. I was waylaid during our palaver with what? Another one? Batsy, this might get messy. We can't eat them all. It is purely a material hunger that is beset upon you, my living person. I can't even read. It is purely a material hunger that has beset upon you, my person this evening. If that's the case, then the vicissitudes of fate have forever. I can't even read. Then the vicissitudes of fate have your favor, for I am never without Hoster's fruitcakes. Grrr. Do you think they will come after us? Impossible. Fruitcakes satisfy even the most monstrous of hungers. Yes, the cherry filling, it's bloody tasty. Fruitcakes. So here's the funny thing: is Brian Bow said, yeah, you could do it. You could use Wolf and Batsy, but they have to eat the cherry cake. And I was like, yeah, sure, because that's his favorite. And first off, I think fruit pies are disgusting, so I think it's funny that the monsters like to eat them. I don't know. I get such a kick out of this ad. Now, here's another mistake in the comic. Now, let me ask you. Wow, I got over 30 people watching right now. Let me know in the chat. When I do a reprint, should I fix the mistakes or should I leave it exactly the same? You know, I already commissioned a second printing cover, and I didn't spoil it yet. It's so good. So good. But I should I fix the mistakes? Because it's supposed to say Unheroic Tales right here. It's supposed to say Unheroic Tales right there, so you'd know that it's a new story. And I didn't do it. I think it was a little jarring for people. But look at this art. Ron, and you got to see his new stuff. He just sent me a page yesterday. Actually, he sent me a double page spread yesterday. You got to see his art. It is so good. Okay, Zach Tan says, yes, you could have multiple versions. Or should I don't want to say like a director's cut or something like that. That's so pretentious. That's so pretentious. So we got Chicago, 1999. So notice this was 2024. This is 1999 in Chicago, a real town. Beep, beep, beep. Look at this setup. Look at that. I don't know. I just love his art. I mean, I love Renzo's art. I just love everything about this comic. I mean, forgive me for being proud and nostalgic and waxing poetic over my comic, but I just love this. I haven't looked at this in over a year, to be honest. You know, you'll see if you ever make your own comic, you get sick of it. You get literally like, I can't look at it anymore. And now so much time has passed, I haven't looked at it. I'm like, I'm getting the warm fuzzies, and I'm absorbing this as a fun comic, not as the difficult work that it was. So I'm enjoying this. I'm glad I did this. This put me in a good mood. Hey, What Geeks Do is here. If you do a reprint and fix the mistakes, I'll reorder the issue. Really? Because, you know, I don't know. Maybe. I don't. Yeah, Abrax says leave the mistakes. I think leave the mistakes. You want to see a real embarrassing mistake? I spelt my friend's name wrong. It's supposed to be I-N, and I put E-N. I'm so stupid. I spelled my friend's name wrong. And there's another typo. I don't think anybody noticed it, but there's a typo here. There's a typo in here someplace. But there was 3 typos, so I thought there's only 3 mistakes. Now there's 4 mistakes. 6 mistakes. So far there's 6 mistakes that I'm picking up. And I wonder how many people would know this. The one that bugs me the most is JJ. I guess his name is James Jr. instead of Paul. Okay, that's easy enough to fix. 58 Underground says fix the mistakes and reprint. Fix the mistakes in the reprint. That's what I want to do. Okay, so here we got Chicago 1999, and it's supposed to say Unheroic Tales right here. Right here. It's supposed to say Unheroic Tales. I even got the logo made and everything, and then forgot to put it in. So beep, beep, beep. Couple's waking up. You look so hot now. I could just take you right back to bed now. Don't tempt me, Corinne. I have to stay focused. This is a very big opportunity. Damn, I could eat you up. Oh, no. The suit's all beat up. I'll look ridiculous. I won't get the job looking like this. It's all beat up. Even dry cleaned. It looks like I was slept in. I don't know what happened, baby. I never even touched it. Bella. Of course, Bella's the cat. Bella must have gotten to it. Damn cat. I must have left the closet door open. She likes to climb. And Bella's looking all sweet, all proud of herself, all helped. Well, you have to go. You can still get the job. They would be idiots not to hire a sexy, charming, hardworking guy like you. Now, I'm building up. At this point, he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. You have a few hours. You could go to the Corner Thrift and see if they have anything that fits. Corner Thrift? Are you nuts? All right, you go. You're right. I can't go like this. So, The Suit. Name of the story. Story by John Boer. Art by Ron Mosicki. Color by Oscar Carreno. Letters by Bill Williams. You know, I just look how crummy the town is. You know, I just said I said a 2-page spread. Let's try to get like the credits on billboards, kind of like Will Eisner. No. I was telling Ron, I said, we'll do a 2-page spread over here, the panels, and then in between the panels, we'll just have some like CD people in the background. So Ron drew all of this. He made and then I said, what would be cool if we could somehow work the credits on billboards? And he goes like Will Eisner in The Spirit. And right then and there, I was like, this is going to be awesome. He took the words right out of my mouth. So I look at that. He puts these street walking girls. I just love this. Well, do you have any suits? This one's all beat up. Welcome to Corner Thrift. These suits, all good, nice price. These are all garbage. I can't believe this. I actually thought I could work for the mayor. Who am I kidding? You keep looking. You find something. Huh? What's this? So, cut it out, you two little pirates. I wonder who gave this up. There must be a backstory. Man, this is sweet. Whatever this is, finding this is a godsend. This suit fits so well. This is too good to be true. What's this? Inspected by 666. Now that's weird. Now this is inspired by a true story. There's 2 stories that inspired this particular story. The first is I did go to a thrift store when I was in college in Albuquerque, and I bought pants, and they did say inspected by 666. And I was with my friend, and I was like, these are the devil's pants, and he was laughing. I was like, should I buy the devil's pants? And he was joking, goes, it'll make you devilishly handsome. That's the inspiration for this story. So I was like, I kept that inspection stick for as long as I could. These pants were inspected. That became like a joke, It was how I would, as the kids would say today, riz up the girls. But back then, that's how you mac up the girls, showing them my devil pants. The second part of this story is James Griffin, whose name I misspelled. This guy right here, he created this character, Lucius Kane. It was his character in the role-playing game. He came up with an idea of the suit. That was the name of the character. That was the supervillain name, and his identity was Lucius Kane. And Lucius Kane, he wanted him to be a businessman. Now, I already had The Bad Businessman already scripted. He makes his debut, Philip Manning, in Heroic Tales 2. So I didn't want to have 2 bad businessmen, so I made him the bad politician. So that was the big change that I made from Jimmy's concept of the character. And his concept was he is a suit. So he's a businessman in a suit, and he runs everything. And then he says, and he never changes his lucky suit. So then I made up that the suit gave him all the powers and everything like that. And it was really interesting because when Jimmy rolled up the character, I rolled up the powers. So he didn't know what powers he had. I thought that was a fun way to role play. And my friend Jimmy loves when we do role playing like that. So he didn't know what powers he had. And Lucius Kane's main power is the suit. And not a lot of people got the suit's card. So this is one of the cards that, I'm selling the individual cards for $2 a piece, when I do the merchandise camp. But here he is today, So Ron did the art for the card. And let's check out. So name the suit. Identity, Lucius Kane. Side, evil. Age 46. Level 12. Hit points 25. Lucius Kane needed a suit for a job interview in a small rundown thrift store. He found the suit. So, powers, magic item. His suit is haunted by the devil. It provides the wielder with life support, so Lucius Kane can survive in space. You guys know secrets about Lucius Kane. Nobody else knows. So life support means it as long as he's wearing the suit, he doesn't need to eat. He's not affected by air pressure. He's not affected by atmosphere, lack of atmosphere, things like that. You can't drown him, because the suit provides everything he needs environmentally to stay alive. The wearer of the suit, so the suit provides the wearer with life support and adaptation. Adaptation is the ability to adapt to mostly energy and chemical attacks. So if you shoot Lucius Kane with lightning, the suit will just make it so that it doesn't affect him. He can't be affected by poisons, things like that. So he's immune to atmosphere. He's immune to energy. He's immune to chemical attacks, and willpower. So willpower is the ability this is a hard power to explain to people who haven't played Villains, but Villains Vigilantes, the power of willpower is that your brain controls all the automatic functions of your body. So you could stop your heart beating. You could close your mind off from mental telepathy. You could totally control your body. If you do get drugged, you could increase Thorazine and bypass. You could increase your you could lower your heart rate. You could lower your need for oxygen for time, things like that. You could go into hibernation. You can, make your eyes dilate so you could see in the dark. Things like that. You could control all the. So it's one of the best defenses against mental attacks. So this suit almost makes Lucius Kane invincible. Whatever the wielder needs, he could always be found. I read it wrong. Whatever the wielder needs could always be found in one of its pockets. Okay, so whatever Lucius Kane needs is in its pocket. Now, the funny thing about that is when Jimmy was playing Lucius Kane in our role-playing game, he would make a point. I casually put my hand in my pocket, and then I would tell him what was in his pocket, but I didn't tell him the use for it. He had to figure it out. So I would give him what he needed, but he didn't know why he needed it. And he literally found this whole adventure was actually role played. And I shouldn't spoil this, but this is a card you could buy. He could spend 1 point of charisma to perform a miracle. So he could literally. And the way I explain that is that is inspired by Spawn. The Spawn's Hell Meter. Originally he had when he burnt up all the power in his meter, he would get consumed and controlled by Maljaboa. It's the same thing. Every time he spends a point of charisma, he could literally perform a miracle. But as soon as his charisma goes to 0, he's claimed by Satan. So his charisma is at 22 because he trains in charisma constantly. Every time he goes up at a level, he's trying to counter. He was born with natural charisma. He had an 18 in charisma. And then he trains in it constantly. So he's actually burnt points of charisma, and he's slowly going to get consumed by Satan. So his weight is 240, strength is 16. So he's in phenomenal shape. Endurance is 15, agility 16, intelligence 19, charisma 22, damage mod +2, accuracy +2. His carrying capacity is 672. So he's a powerhouse, or like as far as normal humans go. 1 die 8 damage with the punch. His movement is 47. His power is 66. So there you go. That's Lucius Kane now. This is Lucius Kane first level. So pick up the cards. They'll be available. Well, they're available now. You could go into the current campaign site and pick up a set of cards. I thought it was just a pocket with diabolic. Yes, that's the passive power, and I have a story about that. I'm not done with Lucius Kane. I find him to be a fascinating character. Willpower sounds useful. Being able to control your own thoughts easily would be useful from being distracted. Yes, you could increase your focus. You could do things like that. You could make it so that you can't get distracted. So like say you wanted to paint, you could paint in a room full of paint your minis without getting. First step, I'll try to eat whatever you find in your pocket. He doesn't need to eat. He's got constant willpower. The suit provides everything his body needs to stay alive. And I didn't write it down, but I should have. I ran out of room. But it's like Gollum. He won't take off the suit. The suit cleans itself. So that's weird. Suit 666. Nice. So now, even the little kids were fighting. This may just work out. Everybody, like I said, a gay couple, they look at him, but he made it a woman and a man, but the guy's like checking him out. The woman's checking him out. Re-elect Tomlinson. I'm Lucius Kane. I have a 1:30 job interview with Mayor Tomlinson. Okay. I will let you know you are here. Follow me, Mr. Kane. And I specifically said she touches him. I wanted everybody to know. That was weird. Hey, I've heard great stuff about you. Sit down. Here's Mayor Tomlinson. You have an excellent resume, and as much as I think you would be perfect for this position, the job has already been filled. We tried to call you, but your wife answered, said you were already on your way. I'm so sorry. Are there any other openings? It's been my dream to get into politics anyway, to get my foot in the door. Listen, I'll keep my ear out, but you're going to do all right. You have a certain something. I will keep you in mind if anything opens. What's that? So he pulls out what is that? A photograph? What is it? What have you got? How did you get this? Who else knows about this? You want the job? It's yours. Yeah, the job is yours. I'll keep this and you can start right away. Is that okay? Is that good? So right here is him crossing the Rubicon. Right here, he could have been a good guy. This panel, Lucius Kane is a good guy. This panel, he's a bad guy. That's how quick it is. Right then and there, he made his choice. This is all his consequences. And he can't, right now he's still humane, good. You know what I mean? So it's wearing out his soul, his conscience. You remember I said earlier that I made up a stat called humanity? Right here, his humanity is normal. His humanity is being deteriorated. Now, in my version of the character, like I said, I have house rules. In my he doesn't spend charisma to make miracles. He uses his humanity. He literally becomes more and more evil as he uses the suit's power. Not charismatic, but they don't have humanity in the base rule game, so I couldn't use it. So he's coming home. The hookers are all checking him out. Or maybe over here I said the gay guy. I forget, but I remember one of them was like a guy. The hookers are checking him out. Surprise! Hey, looking sharp. Congratulations. Lucius, honey, babies, everything all right? Yes, I got the job. I start tomorrow. Congratulations. And then we're looking at this picture. It's on his desk. And the funny thing is this page was left off, and we were about to go to print. And I was like, Rod, where's the last page? He goes, I drew the last page. I was like, oh my God, So I forgot. So Ron drew this in one day. One day, Foop sent it to me. What a professional. I will always be thankful for Ron. To Ron for that. I'm so proud of you. I prayed and prayed, and look at you in that suit. If your daddy wasn't here right now, if your daddy here, what I ought to do to you would be illegal. I'm so proud of you, proud of your son. If your mother were alive to see you after all you've been through, you in that rocket blue suit, bro, you're going to rule this town. The end. So did people get what happened? I was so worried about this. Now, this picture is the famous picture that Katie did freaked out on, and I don't blame her. Again, I thought we were cool. He's a bad guy. Mayor Tomlinson is a fiend. He doesn't have powers. He's a normal human, horrible piece of crap. And Lucius Kane could have turned him in and became a hero. But he made his choice. And, now he's taking everybody's accolades. Everybody's loving him. They congratulate. And he knows, maybe without realizing it, but he knows he sold his soul to the devil right here. He's a piece of crap. Wait till you see the horrible stuff he's into. And now, because this is 1999, Nick, we see him in Heroic Tales 2, which is the day after this. So 25 years later. So he had 25 years of wearing the devil's suit. He's a piece of crap. You could like a bad guy, but hate everything he does. He's a bad guy. So Zach 10 says, pretty subtle. Did this work? I got a lot of people watching. Did this story make sense? Did it work? I was really nervous about this. Chuck Dixon didn't like this story. He thought it was too on the nose. RJ from the Fourth Age thought this was so much better than the first story. It's not obvious that Lucius saw it. Yeah, he sees it right here. Zach Tan says it was not obvious that Lucius saw what the picture was. Okay, but he saw it. And then. So essentially, his suit pockets are a version of Felix the Cat's bag of tricks. Yeah. Except Felix can control what comes out of the bag. Lucius can't. Whatever he needs is in that pocket. Money, jewelry, condoms, a Snickers bar, whatever he needs. But, I make it and put it in his pocket, and then I control his reactions. But when we played it with Jimmy, it was so much fun because Jimmy would find something in his pocket, and then he would have to figure out why he needed it. And sometimes he goofed. There was something like, and like one time he found a phone number. There was a matchbook with a phone number, and he called, but he didn't know why he had to call the guy. I thought I made it obvious, but he messed up the phone call. But the devil gave him what he needed. He was just too dumb to figure it out in that particular case. I like this story, very riveting. Thank you, Zach 10. Thank you. Abrax, I like it. So let me ask, is anybody watching this? Is this anybody's the first time? I'm not going to get mad if you don't have my comic book. Is this the first time anybody have seen it? Or was anybody confused when they read it, and now it makes sense that I read it to you? Let me know all that feedback. I want to know what you guys think. I won't get any better if I don't get honest feedback. When Johnny Rocket said, just take the files and dump them in the garbage, and then I blocked them, and EVS is making fun of me on Trashcast because I can't take credit. That wasn't criticism. That's trolling. And EVS, shut your mouth. You can't take criticism. The whole feud we have is because you couldn't take my criticism. I said Trashcast was a bad idea, and you went nuts. And I said CG is harming crowdfunding, and you went nuts. They were honest criticisms. I was trying to help. I still considered us buds at the time. But what do you want me to go? Dale says he just got Heroic Tales 2 in the mail today. Nice. What state are you in, if you don't mind saying? I'm just curious. Because I prop Dale. I remember mailing a Dale's. I don't remember your last name on Monday. So that would be really cool if you got it that fast. Will we hear anything about the girl, or will it be unknown? Unfortunately, I have no. You'll find out, but not that specific girl. But you'll find out what you know. Can't sleep. I wish I had some high THC eggs right about now. Washington State. Wow, they got that pretty quick. I think I mailed yours on I either mailed it Saturday or Monday. I either mailed it Saturday or Sunday. Either way, it got there really quick. Really quick. So this is just I had asked people to write letters, and I got a letter from Kyle Prometheus, and you can see over here I spelled Griffin correctly. So this is just me explaining my why I made a comic book, my history, things like that. So typical first issue. Please, I implore you, write letters. Send any letters to heroicmails@yahoo.com. If you send them to heroicmails@yahoo.com, I will publish them in the comics. If I get 20 pages of email, well, I'm not going to put 20 pages. That's ridiculous. But I'll put as many letters as I can in each. I think it's so much fun. I want there to be letters. Please criticize me. You don't have to gloss me up. Say you didn't like it. Say it's too expensive. Whatever you want. Purple capes are stupid. Whatever you want to say, I'll put it in the letter and I'll try to respond. Well, I will respond. They're alive. So this is funny. This is Matt Bauer. He did an ad for me. Matt is so freaking talented. He's so funny. I just said, you want to do an ad? And he was like, yeah, sure. I'll work for you, Johnny Longbox. I'll work for you, Johnny Longbox. What do you want me to do? And I was like, how about a goof on the Sea Monkeys ad? And he said, okay, what do you want me to do? I was like, how about Sea Hippies? And then he goes, okay, when do you want it? I said, no rush right now. So I gave the three guys doing the ads plenty of time. So I didn't hear from him. And then I'm like, oh man, did Matt forget? Because I was like, oh, what's going on? And then next thing you know, boom. This is so freaking fun. I thought that I was going to have to send him a script and he was going to draw it. But no, this is funnier than anything. Look at this. They're alive. They smell. Grow these real live moochers with fun eggs. Sea hippies. I love this. Your sea hippies will arrive safely in a dime bag full of thick THC eggs. See, I don't smoke pot, so I never would have thought of this. I'm not saying Matt does, but I'm not saying he doesn't either. Just add some water. Oh, I can't even read it. It's too dark for my eyes. What does it say? It's too small for me. What does it say? Oh, just add water and regret your actions. That's hilarious. Written by John Boer and illustrated by Matt Barr. No, that's not true. This is written and illustrated by Matt Barr. All I did was say, hey, Sea Hippies. So thank you, Matt, for credit that I didn't earn. They will sing, smell, and ask you for money. That's so freaking funny. They're guaranteed to grow. In fact, that's all they do. They eat and grow. Will they contribute to their own society? Be square. Of course not. Work is for suckers. So I got to put this up here so it's bigger. You could smoke the eggs or place them in water. Be warned. Sea hippies grow in smetty and fast. Your fish tank will become a submerged drum circle. It'll keep you up all night. They will dance, eat, and smoke all damn day. Will they get jobs? Do anything productive? Of course not. They are sea hippies. They will bum smokes, money, and scratch your vital. Don't worry. They're easy to care for. They don't require much. They don't need cleaning and will eat whatever you feed them. You literally can't get rid of them. Mail this coupon. Sea Hippies Aquarium, apartment 43, whatever. It's just so freaking funny. I love that. Thank you, Matt. I love this ad. I crack up every time I see it. If only my plants grew. And then look at this Brian Bow ad. Brian Bow of Wolf and Fat Betsy. And it was funny is when Katie did review this ad, she thought it was real. No, this is Wolf and Betsy. How to draw monsters. Madhouse Super Gimmicks, Pranks, Joy Buzz, Halloween, Trick or Treats, X-ray glasses, see right through women's clothes and human flesh. Shock Monsters, a girl vampire, teenage vampire, phony arm cast. Beauty comes alive when you see it in 3D. Real life, natural color pinups. Beautiful models. You can almost reach out and hold them in your arms. Brought to you by Amazing Color 3D View. Batsy over here looking sexy. Kill with one power punch. I love this. This is so good. A dinosaur skeleton. Flesh-eating plants. I miss this stuff, man. I love this stuff. I'm so glad that there's an ad like this in my comic book. So good. Hostess fruit pies, sea hippies, Madhouse ad. This is great. And then this is Oscar Crano. Oscar, my colorist, drew this. He just drew it and sent it to me. And I was short a page, and I asked him if I could put it in here. So Oscar Crano, the colorist of the suit, he is an accomplished artist. Here's his signature over here. Oh, you can't see it. Look at that. And Oscar will be drawing half of Eddie is Doomed, and Tonic Bowl will be drawing the other half of Eddie is Doomed. So I can't wait. Oscar and I designed all the superheroes. And here's the back cover. I love this. I use Comics Wellspring for printing. And by default, they put an advertisement on the back cover. But I didn't want that. And I didn't want that. Nothing against Comics Wellspring. In fact, Comics Wellspring is awesome. Their customer service is so good. Man, did I pester these poor ladies every day for like 3 weeks for my first printing, you know? And they were gracious. They were nice. They were nothing but helpful. I cannot recommend them enough. They were awesome. But I didn't want their ad. No offense to them. I wanted my first comic to have something from me on the back of the cover. So I was racking my brain. So I was like, okay, this is what encapsulates the patriarch. So he's on the farm with his 7 children, holding the baby. And of course, somebody makes fun of this all the time. But I love this. I love the color. Daniel De La Silva Rodriguez colored this. You know, it's him at sunrise, their farm. You know, so good. You know, all his family. I just really, really like this. I could look at it over and over and over again. So that's first issue. Heroic Tales number 1. Obviously, I'm not going to do Heroic Tales number 2 for a while. But there you go. The ads are perfect. Oh, and I hope they're in all your comics. They're going to be in Heroic Tales. They're not going to be in Patriarch. But Heroic Tales, I already have one ad by Brian Bow already done because it was going to be no Heroic Tales 2. Oh, you've already seen it. Yeah, it has ads. It has ads in it. And I have one ad for Heroic Tales 3 already done. And I have an idea for a couple of more ads. Am I okay? Yeah. Just my foot hit this. It's a good back cover. Thank you. You okay? Yeah, I'm okay. The camera shook for a second. Yeah, I kicked it with my foot by accident. That scared me. It's a fun comic, back to front. Thank you. I just want to show this. I've been neglectful in showing this off. But I got this made because I love the back cover so much. What was that? I love my back cover so much. I had this made. I'll show it like this. So this is a metallic print of the back cover, and you can see the size. Okay. So I'm going to offer these on my merchandise campaign. Like, it's metallic. It's, $65. You know what I mean? That's what I have to charge. So if anybody wants one, I'll have them made to order. You know what I mean? Because I can't store 20 of these or whatever. But I just love this. And of course, people who shall be nameless just make fun of that back cover. It gives me the skis. It's gay. Of course, anything wholesome would frighten off Comicsgate because they're a bunch of degenerates. Anyway, nice. Thank you. That's very cool. Thank you. So I'm during the week I'm going to build a campaign for all my merchandise, and I'll shut down the Heroic Tales. Actually, I'm not going to shut down the Heroic Tales. I'll keep them open simultaneously, because in King Cryptid 13, I'm going to have an ad. Now, I'm going to have an ad in King Cryptid 13 by Alterna Comics for Heroic Tales campaign. And so if I have the website built, I'll ask Pete Samedi if it's too late, because I'll put a QR code for whichever campaign is active. If it's too late, then I'm going to keep this campaign page open until that ad comes out. Because that would be kind of self-defeating to have an ad in a comic with the QR code to a page that the page is closed. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm glad I thought this out loud. So there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah, 8. Okay, because Renzo had his next daughter in three pages, and I'm like, he only has 7 kids. There's a specific reason why he has 7 kids, and he kept adding an 8th kid, another girl, and so then he changed it. He took her out and he replaced her with a cat. So whenever you see a cat, that's where there was an extra girl. And now I can't help but wonder about that girl. What's her story? So I have an actual story about that girl, the girl who doesn't exist. And it's turning into a pretty good story, if you ask me. And it's all because Renzo put in too many kids, So that's funny. So now you got a little inside scoop. I think it's great Patriarch is homesteading. It makes sense for the character. More people should be that way in real life too. Yeah, it's something I wish I could do. I would starve to death in a wheat field. But there's reasons why they homestead. I don't have to spell them out. He's a superhero in a world of crazy villains. You already saw Dr. Robug could be a little obsessive. Regina Lopez is obsessive. You can only imagine, Jokers and I'm trying to think of other guys, Dr. Octopus and stuff like that. Green Goblin. Could you imagine if Green Goblin knew exactly what Peter Parker was, living, or his family was living? So there's a reason. That's the main reason. I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying it. Plus, everybody knows his name. Having a wife and children is good. I know. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He took her out. Yeah. So the missing girl. She's like Donna Troy. Yeah, I'm starting to. The story that I'll take it back. I don't want to spoil the missing girl. But one of the things, somewhere where when I have about 6 comics made, I want to make an art of Longbox Comics. I used to call it the art of Heroic Tales, but I can't, because by that time I'll probably have like 3 titles. So we'll have an art book, and we'll throw Renzo's art, Oscar's art, the other guy's art, and we'll put it. And I'll tell some stories. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it. I almost spoiled it, but I'm not 100% sure. So at this point now, it's question and answers. I didn't expect this many people to be watching, but I'll stay live until the chat stops moving. So if you got questions, I'll put this link out here again. If you want to pop in and talk with me, anybody's welcome. Just have your camera on, and we'll talk. Any questions, anything you want to know, ask away. It's not that we don't want to know, but yes, I know the same thing, because I keep saying to Fabrizio about Horace H. Hoover, why does he wear a vacuum cleaner? Don't tell me. But why does he wear a vacuum cleaner? Don't tell me. Things like that. I don't want to spoil it. I'm the kind of person that I don't even watch trailers. If I decide I want to watch a movie, I don't watch the trailer, because the trailers always spoil the movie. So I'm just restarting the camera, because once it loses its focus, it's just better to start it again. So Zachtan says, sorry, but I got to get some sleep. We have early church tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will do Sunday Comics, and I'm going to do the next in line for X-Men. I think it's 114, 113, somewhere around there. It's the second. It's where they fight Sauron. Are the character comics like the Patriarch ongoing or minis? Well, each issue is self-contained. And if Patriarch number 1 does well, I'll do Patriarch number 2. And if Patriarch number 2 does well, I'll do number 3, and so on and so on. So they're self-contained. They can end, if you know what I mean. I have 1 2-issue story planned, but it's all up to you guys. It'll go on forever. The Patriarch can go on forever. I got a million stories for the Patriarch. Heroic Tales can go on forever. Eddie is Doomed is a one-shot. The Secret Project that I talk about it too much, but I shouldn't, is a one-shot, but I already have 3 stories planned. You know, things of that nature. I have a one-shot planned that's not set in my universe. It's set in Tonic Bowl's universe that he's creating. That we just call it the Dark Space universe. It's not even his Saving the World universe. It's going to be just like dark space horror. I have a story set in that. That's a one-shot. And then I have a comedy story planned with Matt Barr. That it's just a one-shot, you know. So, and Oscar was just telling me today he has a comic that he wants to make, and I was like, you make it, and I'll print it, deliver it, you know, go ahead. It'll be the easiest thing for me. I'll promote it. I'll put it, I'll give it its own campaign, and then I'll add it as add-ons. We'll make a Spanish edition, and we'll make an English edition. So, hope that answers your question. Would you ever design a character with a specific likeness in mind, specifically an old actor like Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee? Yes, I do that a lot, actually. I tell them which actor they kind of look like, but don't make it exactly, make it like this Patriarch, I said, was like a John Hamm type. Regina, I told her she looked more like why can't I think of the actress's name? She looked more like Andy McDowell, but he didn't listen to me. She was supposed to look more like Andy McDowell. Regina Lopez, I just said sexy reporter girl, but I do that sometimes. Ask him to make a character look like the Raven. I told him exactly what actor he looks like. I don't want to spoil it until he shows up. And another secret character that Renzo is reading the script right now. Exactly. Like I even sent him a picture of the actor, in his makeup for a movie. The actor looks like this. So yes, I do give specifically actor looks. Anything? Anybody else? Anybody want to ask a question? I got no. What kind of merchandise would you think? And here's a question for you guys: is membership to my YouTube channel? Is that interesting to anybody? Like, what would I offer? I mean, building revenue is always nice, and you can do super chats and things like that, but like, I never encourage it. So, it would be nice to have like people be members, but I wouldn't know what to offer. So what do you think would be good ideas for perks for members? It sounds like begging to me. Super chat sounds like begging to me. I just want people to buy the comics. And what do you guys feel like? I feel terrible, but like I might have to boost the comics to like $15. I don't want to, but I might have to. Patriarch 1 is $10 10 more pages. So it's definitely going to be $15. But Heroic Tales, I don't know. I I might have to raise the price. You could charge a membership to request specific issue for review on Sunday Comics as long as you own it. That's an idea. Like, I don't have enough like behind the scenes stuff. Like do you want to be? Because I got a bunch of pages by a bunch of guys, for stories. I got like 7 different artists handing in pages. Do you want to see like uncolored pages 2 years before they come out? Things like that. Like, I don't. That's all I could really think of. I mean, other than like secret streams, I don't know. Like, I got really annoyed when Richard T. Meyer had the Dark Roast and I didn't get a link. I was like, dude, I've been listening to you from the beginning. Why didn't you send me like, you know what I mean? I don't want to alienate anybody. So I don't know. Just thinking. Sounds like I'm begging, but I don't want to. Like, subscribe, super chat. Yeah, I'm the worst YouTuber. I never say any of that stuff. But I've been this below 2,000 for so long. Like I went. By the end of my first year, I had 86 subscribers. And then by the end of the second year, I had like 380. And then after I met RJ, I went up, and I've been around 19, whatever I'm at right now. And during the great bot purge of a couple of months ago, I only lost like 4 subscribers. So I like to think that I don't have any bots, that it's actual people. But I can't, I can't break 1966. I think that's how many subscribers I have. King Fu merch. Yes, I got this. I didn't put it on the campaign, but I'm definitely putting it on Heroic Tales 3 because King Fu is part of it. But I got these cards. So the Memphis King Fighting Society cards, membership cards. And then on the back, let it be known you sign your name. Is a charter member in good standing of the Memphis King Fighting Society. That's the name of his dojo. Is thereby entitled to all the adulation and admiration of lesser and more. And it's literally signed by King Fu, Grand Dojo Sensei Pro Tem. These privileges are non-transfer. Blue suede brews, King Fu. I love that. I love this. These are $5 each. If anybody wants them, you can PayPal me at Yahoo. John's Longbox at yahoo.com, and I'll mail you out. I even got envelopes for them, and I got little stickers on them. So it's like, hey, good morning, Ben. How you doing, Ben? And of course, I got the Ultimate King Fu merchandise. I gotta get up and get it. I sold one. It's on the campaign. But I got the King Fu hoodie. There's the Tennessee Dragon on the back. That's his emblem. And it's got the Memphis Fist Fighting Society on the front, the hoodie. Pull over the pocket. So, I got Kung Fu merch. And here's the funny thing is, I didn't write a King Fu story yet. I got to write a King Fu story yet. Maybe do a one-shot of King Fu. So, yeah, I love this character. And I'm so glad people like him. Here's this for a little inside secret. So I made King Fu. And he's a non-player character in my Villains Vigilantes game, meaning nobody plays him. I control him. And he's a member of the Metaforce. And everybody loves him. And it's funny because, like, we'll play an adventure, and then all the other characters will be like, well, what does King Fu have to say about it? So, he's not right here right now. Well, we get him on the horn and get him here. So King Fu always has to show up because all the other players like King Fu. And then I do an Elvis impersonation, and he talks in Elvis songs like, that guy's a real hound dog, that guy's messing with my blue suede shoes, things like that. So I just threw him in the mix, and people seem to like him. Like he just has a little square in Heroic Tales 2. If he shows up twice, he shows up in both stories. So and then I put him in. But anyway, make a long story short, in Heroic Tales 3, Mary Sue goes back home after the events of Heroic Tales 2. I don't want to spoil it, but she feels a little defeated. She feels like a failure. She goes home back, and she gets her old job back at the Sue Mart, and she's a cashier at her father's store. And it's in Flushing, New York, Chinatown. So she's in this is a real location. I actually know where the store is. There's a Walmart there, and I made it a Sue Mart. Not a Walmart, a Walgreens. And there was another Chinese superhero that in my role-playing game lived in Flushing. So I was like, oh, cool, I'm going to have him. And he's a martial artist. Now, he is called Lucky Cricket. So in China, crickets are considered lucky. So he was gonna look like Kato. He's gonna have like a mask that looked like a cricket, silhouette on his face, and a brown cricket costume with a cricket symbol. And he does martial arts, but he also has luck powers. He's Lucky Cricket. But then I realized his powers kind of overlapped Mary Sue. She could warp probabilities. Now, Lucky Cricket, it just happens. He's just extraordinarily lucky. If he was to buy a lottery ticket, it would be like not the best. He actually has rules. He has to make saves versus humanity to see how much luck he has and blah, blah, blah. But he constantly has good luck. Now, I thought that would be kind of redundant with Mary Sue's probability altering powers. So I was like, oh man, but I really wanted to have, and then I was like, wait a minute, I got King Fu. King Fu's an Asian martial arts guy, so he's Korean, but there's also a lot of Koreans in downtown Flushing. Literally, you cross the block and it's Korean, then you go this way, it's Chinese, and then you go a couple blocks this way and it turns into Elmhurst and it's Indian. Great place if you like ethnic food. Oh my God, so good. You go to the Korean places. You can go to the Korean barbecue. Oh my God, the Korean hot pots. Then you go a couple blocks, you get all the dumplings you want. And then you go another couple blocks, you get all the curry. And I love when I work in that part of town. I gained so much weight. So King Fu is going to come out and help her. And Heroic Tales 3 is really a King Fu Mary Sue. So I might even put King Fu Mary Sue team up on the title. So I'm going to have King Fu merchandise, but I got to come up with a solo story. And then King Fu is going to feature prominently in Patriarch number 3. But after that, I don't know what else to do. But you got to strike while the iron is hot. So I got to come up with another King Fu story. So we got RRTNZ for $5 super chat. I was not begging for super chats. Please don't think I was. I didn't get a physical copy because I live in New Zealand. Knowing New Zealand Post wouldn't arrive till the third age of Middle Earth was over. So about 1,000. Yeah, I know. I tried to mail you something. It was $22 just to mail you a small envelope. So thank you. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not telling you what to do, but maybe when I have 4 or 5 comics, it'll be worthwhile to put all of them in a package. You know what I mean? With the shipping. I don't know. But thank you. I mean, really, I make the most money on a digital copy. The $6 that I charge is pure profit. I don't have to get shipping. I don't have to print anything. You know what I mean? So ideally, I should be encouraging everybody to get digital. Like, fulfilling digital is, I did it all for digital orders in 15 minutes. I've been spending a month doing all the physical orders. I had to take a week off because it took me a week to get more Gemini mailers. But I was not mailing these comics unless I had Gemini mailers. Dated a Korean girl when I was in college. She cooked great. Yeah. Probably adorable, too. The prettiest girl I've ever seen in real life was a Japanese Irish. I'm trying to remember her name, but she was roommates with my college girlfriend. Oh, my God. Like, she was so pretty that you get like I don't know about you, but there's a few times in my life when I saw a girl that was just so beautiful, I just was like, I couldn't move. Like I was just like a Thingol meeting Melian. He was just enchanted and couldn't move. If you ever read the Silmarillion. But thank you, RRTNZ. You know, I'm going to ask Bill Willingham to do a cover. Probably say no. Probably be too expensive. But I will ask him. Doesn't mean, that's Shoot the Moon. He's one of my favorites, So who knows? Someday, some way. So so Heroic Tales 3 is Mary Sue and King Fu in one story. The other story is going to be the first appearance of the Raven, which I actually wrote the second appearance of the Raven, and I wrote the third appearance of the Raven. I got to write the first appearance of the Raven, and I got a great villain. But I found out that the name was used, and that really pissed me off. But I looked up the character who has the same name as the villain that I'm going to use, and it's so different. That I think I can still use it, just like other people have used the character called the Raven. So that's Heroic Tales 3 is going to be the Raven, and then the other half will be the continuation of Mary Sue. It's a Mary Sue story, co-starring King Fu. Heroic Tales 4, it's scheduled to be by Time Traveling Hero, and then whoever of all the other artists finishes this story first. And then Heroic Tales 5, it'll be whoever finishes their story out of all these other guys, because Renzo, I hope at that time, will be well on the way with my Santa Claus one-shot story. Have you asked Chuck if you could put your comics up on Spinner? I never even thought of that. I just assumed Spinner Rack was just him and Graham Nolan. I never thought of that. I was thinking about Global Comics, Amazon. I was thinking of talking to a couple of publishers, about, getting into comic book stores. I really would like to get my comics on comic book stores. And it's going to suck because I know a couple of guys are going to be like, oh, you spent $10 in your comic. Now it's in a comic shop for $5. But I'll probably have to cut out a lot of extra stuff. You know what I mean? Like the ads and letter pages and stuff like that to make it whatever size to make it, affordable for $5 or whatever. Because nobody's going to buy a $10 comic book in a comic book store by an unknown person when they could buy a Marvel for $5 or $6. Of man's first disobedience and fruit of the forbidden tree, whose mortal taste brought death into the world, and all our will to one greater restore. Sing us, O heavenly muse. Thank you. You got to write a comic book if you could. I know that's from someplace. So, anybody got anything to ask? Anybody want to come in? I'll put the link in the chat one more time. And if that's the end, then that's the end. Thank you for indulging me. It was a lot of fun revisiting this comic. I literally haven't looked at it in a year. My wife still hasn't read it yet. So here's the link if anybody wants to pop in. And this is too much glare. I'll turn this over since I don't need to read. Get rid of the glare. Anybody want to pop in? Anybody want to say anything? Again, I'll keep talking. Here's your chance to ask stuff about characters, storylines, Easter eggs, whatever you want to know about my comic. Some stuff I'm obviously not going to spoil. Major plots, Dog's name is Caesar. I don't know what the cat's name is. I didn't plan on the cat. We just threw the cat in because Renzo drew one too many girls. Should I review Heroic Tales 2 after finish reading it? Did you like it? If you liked it, please review it. If you didn't like it, you can review it too. That's up to you. If you, I would love if you reviewed it. All eyes on the comic. just don't spoil the whole comic, but yeah, review it if you want to. You have my permission, you have my blessing, whether you liked it or not. Just be fair. That's all I ask. Don't just gush about it because you like me. I assume you like me. And don't just hate on it because you don't like me. Be fair. That's really all I ask. Why is he called Dr. Robug? Because his real name, this card is bent. His real name is Roland Robards. And when he was working on his PhD, he was working on robotic insects. So you know how cruel people could be. They called him, instead of Dr. Robards, they called him Dr. Robug as a mean insult, making fun of him. And he was like, I'm Dr. Robug, and he is a real nasty character in my game. When I'm playing with my friends, they could be meaner. Like, you saw what his scheme was. He was abducting a woman, and he showed up. My players have fought him 3 or 4 times, and each time he got nastier and nastier. And then the second time he had henchwomen, insect-based henchwomen, and I really wanted to put them in the comic, but I figured I'd save it for this. But he had a honeybee, and because he invented all of these insect devices, so all these women had like power suits. The insect, one of them was a honeybee, mayfly. Why can't I remember them all? But they're all insect based. One of them was ladybug, but I've since found out that there is a cartoon called Ladybug, and she looked remarkably like my character. But there was a whole bunch of them. I think he had like 6. Why can't I remember them now? Yeah, but I remember honeybee, mayfly, and ladybug, and there was more that I can't remember. I wish I could remember. Owning his insult like the Penguin or Dr. Octopus. Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much. He's based on Dr. Octopus. I totally a ripoff of Dr. Octopus. Like, he's not a ripoff, an homage. I always say it's an homage if you do it with love. It's a ripoff if you do it with, no talent. So you guys get to decide if it's an homage or a ripoff. I like how you showed the patriarch hunting. It's funny because 2 guys who I respect a lot, RJ from the Fourth Age, loved that he went hunting. Loved it. Said it was he loved that, and he loved the relationship with Regina Lopez and the patriarch. He actually talked about it on one of his Saturday videos about, like, at what point should we stop saving people from the consequences of their own actions. And he brought up my comic book. Like, he goes, John had his superhero save a woman, mentally disturbed woman who constantly throws herself in danger. And I hope you get the feeling that wasn't the first time she did something like that. And Mike Barron said I should have had more of him hunting. So I think that's, 2 guys who I respect, from here to Jupiter, and they both said the same thing. They like the hunting. They wish there was more hunting. And at the same time, I got more quote unquote hate mail about that hunting scene than I did about the photograph of the little girl. It's funny, but it just shows me how easy we have it here in America. We are, what, 2 or 3 steps away from our food. Like, I remember when I lived in Albuquerque, my girlfriend at the time, she would go hunting. She loved to hunt. I never hunted. My father would go hunting every summer, but I never hunted, And I remember being like, what are you going out and killing a deer for? And now as an adult, I'm just like, yeah, I eat meat, I eat hamburgers, I eat steaks, I eat chicken. So somebody else kills my food for me. I have the luxury of not killing my food. So I realized I was a hypocrite about the hunting. So now, like, I still haven't hunted. Now I regret never hunting. I regret never going out and hunting, and I especially regret not learning how to field dress. My foreman, who lives only 3 or 4 miles away, this guy's a hunter. He would take off and go hunting. He would take off like a Friday. He was a great foreman to work for. He was always missing work to go hunting. But he made sure that he taught his sons how to field dress. You know, he's one of these people who says, like, the inevitable collapse of society. He goes, my sons will, you know, I could shoot a deer. I got no problems. I got guns. I got rifles. I could shoot. I got my pistol permit. You know, I could shoot, but I wouldn't know how to turn it into food. You know, I would just ruin it. You know, so like in the collapse of society, I would have a hard time. So I should learn how to go hunting. You know, we all should. You know, I should learn how to turn wheat into bread. I should grow a garden. I have a backyard that I don't do anything with. I should make it a garden. I really should. As long as you don't show too much of him field dressing the deer, you should be cool. Yeah, RJ3. RJ, he does Call Sign Orion. He did a review goofing on. He said, what's this kid, Dexter? But they live on a farm. You know, I already told you about a girl I dated in college. Beautiful girl. She looked like Sherilyn Fenn. Believe it or not, I used to be able to get some good-looking girls back in college, even though I was a fat. I was kind of chubby. I was kind of chubby in college, but I was charming. But she had a pig farm, you know, and here she is, like, wearing her slinky black dress, her red lipstick, and her pinup hairstyle, and then the high heels, talking about shooting pigs with a shotgun with her father on the pig farm. And everybody was horrified. And she was like, where do you think your food comes from? You like bacon? I provide you with that bacon. I take the shotgun to the pig so you can have your bacon. So, yeah, I think we should, but I just never did. I used to hunt with my dad when I was younger, but I stopped because it was too cold too early, and I just didn't want to go. Yeah, one thing I'll never do is go ice fishing. That I don't understand. And I work with a couple of guys that they love to go ice fishing. And the joke that I always make is, man, you know, a man hates his wife when he goes ice fishing. And they're like, no, ice fishing is great, you know. But then my little brother likes to go hiking by himself. You know, he'll drive like 2 hours upstate and then just walk around for 6 hours and then drive 2 hours home. Man, that just sounds like a waste of a day as far as I'm concerned. But he loves it. And then he's emailing pictures of a tree. You know, I had a barbecue last summer, 2 summers ago, and I just always wanted to have a keg party in my own house. So I got a keg and I got a barbecue, and I invited all my friends over, and, you know, my wife was freaking out, and it just turned out to be an exceptionally warm day for the fall. So nobody came in the house. Everybody was in the backyard. So much food. I bought a little barbecue fire pit, you know, and everybody was never. And my brother, he just made a lean-to tent and slept in the backyard. You know, he could have slept in the house. You know, just shows you how different people are. You know, my older brother's into motorcycles the way I'm into comic books. That guy could assemble a motorcycle blindfolded, and him and his buddies, they just pack up and they drive on their motorcycles or ride on their motorcycles. You know, sleep on the road. You know, that sounds cool, but not the motorcycle. I'll drive my car. But anyway, I just think it's funny, you know. And then my oldest brother, you know, I got 3 brothers, I got 3 sisters. He go into his garage. He's got this. Oh my God, it's like Santa's workshop in that garage. You know, completely different hobbies. I used to hunt with my dad when I was younger, but I stopped because it was too cold. Oh, I already read that. Yeah. So anybody else? Anybody else got anything to say? Anything? Like I said, I got a story coming out in Bill Williams' Punchline Annual #1, 12 pages. I think there's 5 stories, or 4 or 5 stories. I'm not 100% sure. So I know Bill wrote a story. Bill Williams wrote a story. Bill Willingham wrote a story. I wrote a story. So I don't know if it's 3, but I think there's 4. I'm not sure who the other one is. And I think all of us get a variant cover. So there's going to be the A cover. I'll probably be the C cover. I'm so excited. It's so much fun for three reasons that Bill respected me enough. He said I was very professional, and it's written, it's colored, it's written, it's drawn, and it's colored. I just got to update the lettering script, and I'm going to do that tomorrow. So I will send that to him tomorrow before midnight. And he told me I was very professional, which made me feel good because I respect Bill. He's a great guy. And so that's number one. I'm going to be in somebody else's comic. That was really stressful because it had to be 12 pages. So, it's really tough to come with an exact number of pages. So that was fun. And then his character couldn't be a damsel in distress. It was his character. You know what I mean? The first script was just my guys being cool and his character being a damsel in distress. He didn't like that. So I rewrote it and he was happy with it. He said he likes it a lot. I love it. It's the best work Renzo's done so far. It's absolute best coloring Oscar done. Oh my God, the coloring is so good. I've spoiled so many pages of it, but with Bill's blessing. But it's just fun because I hand in the lettering script tomorrow and I'm done. Somebody else is pre-pressing it. Somebody else is doing the lettering. Somebody else is doing all the cover dress. Somebody else is going to do the check. I'm sure Bill will send me the final just to go over it, make sure, and then somebody else is going to print it and he's going to do a Kickstarter for it like he always does. And then after that goes to Antarctic Press and then they're going to put it in comic book stores. Oh man, it's going to be so great. I can't wait. What is this? Tony Grigo. And your brother showed up. Is he younger brother or older brother? Your other was watching the other day. John, have you seen the 1990s Captain America film? I actually like it better. Yeah, that's the one with the he had the ears on his helmet, right? And he had the glass. He had he rode the motorcycle, right? Is that the one? Was there two earlier ones, or is there one? Yeah. The Red Skull is in it for more than 10 minutes. He's actually fighting Nazis that shoot guns and not Hydra agents that shoot laser pistols. Yeah. The 90s, it seems like we're getting more and more constricted in what we're allowed to show. Yeah, that was like, I love the first Captain America movie is one of my favorite Marvel movies, if not my favorite Marvel movie. That Doctor Strange. But that's my big criticism is that they don't actually have guns. It's like it's not the world. And then they have this female sergeant, ordering men around, and it's a different world. It was a sexist world. Commit to the bit. Cool. So, anybody got anything else? Bueller. Oh. I don't want to get it but I have a comic autographed. Oh, I'm thinking, yeah, there were two. So I saw both, and I'm mixing them together in my mind. Okay, I was starting to doubt my sanity for a second, but there was two. There was one where he was driving around on a motorcycle, and he put his shield was clear, and he used it as a windshield on his motorcycle. And then there was the 90s movie, yeah, that went like straight to video or was never supposed to be released. I forget what. Yeah, there was two. That's right. I was mushing them together. So as I was saying, and as soon as I'm done delivering, I'm going to do it again. But I took 3 copies of Heroic Tales, this cover, and I mailed them to Daniel in South America, and he autographed them. He autographed them all, and then he mailed them to Oscar, and then Oscar autographed them all. He mailed them to Renzo. Renzo autographed them all, and then he mailed them to Bill, and he autographed them all. Then Bill sent them to Matt Barr, and he autographed them all. And then Matt sent them to Brian Bow. He autographed them all. And then Fabrizio, and then Ron, and then to me. And then I still didn't sign them yet. I got to sign them. So that means I got 3 copies of Heroic Tales autographed by everybody in the comic. I'm keeping one for myself and I'm going to auction off the other 2. So, is anybody interested in Heroic Tales 1 Lorenzo cover autographed by everybody? And if so, what would you bid on it? You know, I will tell you that it cost me $94 in shipping to get this all around. So minimum bid, $95. Sorry, but that's it. So I got 2, and only 2. So if anybody's interested, email me at johnslongbox@yahoo.com with your bid, and the highest bid, it'll be like one of those silent bids. And I don't know what else to say. Seems like people are leaving, so I guess I will call it quits. Going once, going twice. All right, I'll see you tomorrow morning, or today rather, at 10 a.m. for Sunday Comics, where I'll talk about the X-Men, and then I will go back to fulfilling orders. Then I will do the script for Bill, and then I will start on my merchandise campaign. Good night, Abrax. Good to see you back. Good to see you back. And are you? Is your wife, Lacey Lee? Lacey, that used to be in the comment section a lot. And if it is, tell her hello. How you doing? Kind of miss her comment. There's a couple of guys okay, yes, it is. Tell her I said hello. Kind of miss her in the comments. How is she doing? Hope everything is well with you guys. Is Jeff Hatcher? If anybody knows Jeff Hatcher, I haven't heard from him in a long time. He was like my first subscriber, and he was like my first guest on the channel, when I was testing it out. I haven't heard from him in a long time. And there's another guy from the beginning that I kind of miss. All of a sudden my wife asked how they were doing. She hears you fine. Weird schedule at the moment. Yeah, I hear that too. Okay, I'm glad. And has anybody heard from DC Miller? I've been trying to get in contact with him. The last time he posted on Twitter was in September. Doesn't respond to emails, phone calls, or Twitter. So I just sent out, he ordered Heroic Tales. I mailed it yesterday, and I put in a piece of loose leaf like, are you okay? If you're not okay, anybody who opens this up, I'm looking for you. I'm curious how you're doing. Here's my phone number. Here's my email. Just let me know. Because some people like Chelsea Cannon just got sick of social media and just quit. So I hope that's the case. I hope. But if anybody knows DC Miller, if you could just let them know, I'm concerned. All right. And at that, I will say goodbye, kids.
Goodbye, kids.